Welcome to District Spotlight, the one and only Diamond D. You make it over okay? What do you think of the district traffic?
So far, I mean, it's like New York.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
like
being
New York,
from the Bronx,
New York,
Yeah, I'll tell you, I travel literally 7 miles to work. It takes me an hour.
Crazy, 7 miles.
Yeah, they say the district's the worst in the entire nation.
Could be.
This is my DJ, the one, the only.
B-Dub the Boy Wonder.
Nice to meet you, sir.
Respect.
And guess what, Diamond?
Yeah.
It's his birthday.
Okay, happy birthday, man.
Thank you.
Right,
This is probably like the greatest for him. This is like the greatest birthday present ever.
Amen.
You know what I mean?
Amen.
So listen, this is a special moment for us,
Right.
but it's more special for you in your music and your career. And the reason why is because the fact I just said it. Your debut album. We'll talk about the rest of your career. Your debut album changed lives. And the fact that we're even talking about its birthday being 26 years old,
Right.
this many years, decades later, is a testament to what happens when a very special thing happens in a time and a place with the right people. We always ask our guests as a first question, when was it, if you can remember, the first time you ever heard and fell in love with hip-hop? What was the song? What was the artist? Where were you? Where were you staying?
Maybe like 79 at a block party, like a neighborhood jam. Before Rappers Delight. I used to stand by the ropes and just try to look at the DJ to see what he was playing. As a kid, and this is back when he was just break beats. So just to answer your question, the song was called "Blow Your Head" and the group was the JB. It's a break beat, but I knew at that point, that's really like what pulled me into the whole culture.
Well, isn't that interesting that you're
right.
referencing James Brown versus, many of the, hip-hop legends of all time, usually look to, for instance, Sadat was saying, everything he does is because of Grandmaster Caz. Like, that's who he was, first, listening to. Is there anyone in hip-hop, do you recall, first hearing and going, holy shit, like, we can do that? Like, that's hip. What is this,
I would put Caz up there. The whole Cold Crush 4, Caz, Fantastic Five, groups like that. Furious Five. As kids, we would have the cassette tapes, and we would just listen to those, basically.
And were you first moved to be an MC or a producer?
A DJ at first.
DJ.
Right.
Beautiful.
I started out as a DJ.
And where and why did you get your first pair of turntables?
First turntables, I don't know, maybe like 82, somewhere around there.
How old were you?
82, I'm 13.
13-year-old with enough money to get turntables? Damn.
Yo.
What the heck were you doing?
Paper route.
Like my mom, like my parents hooked me up. My parents hooked me
Your
up.
parents hooked you up.
More or less. So.
Do you recall, were they belt driven? Like what? Because I remember my first pair of turntables, they were the worst.
My first joints were belt driven.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were. You had to, if you were nice on the belts, then once you got on the direct drive, it was like butter.
Oh, it was butter. It was butter.
Right, you know that.
You had to almost, like the little race cars you have to rev up on the carpet.
Right.
It was with the belt drive, similar, right?
Yeah, it's a little push off.
And then everyone has a transition point. I remember, mine personally, but when you were a DJ, there had to be a certain point where you go, yo, I could make these beats. Or I could rhyme these rhymes. Do you recall that moment? Do you recall maybe the song or what you were spinning or what you were listening to that made you think maybe I could do this?
Probably being around the Brand Nubians when they were working on their first album. Doing that and working on Lord Finesse first 2 albums. It was like around that time.
But you were producing at this time.
Yeah, I was producing already.
Right.
But just being around Finesse and the Brand Nubians, 90, 91.
Yeah.
My album's like 92.
Yeah.
But 90, 91, just being around them as a
Yeah.
producer
Yeah.
just made me consider picking up the microphone.
Well, speaking of which, shout out Lord Finesse.
Right, of course.
Who-
Home team.
Yeah, will probably not only be watching this, but I just spoke with him on DM. He'll probably be inducted later in October.
Cool. He deserves it.
Okay?
doubt.
And that brings me to an obvious question. And remember, Diamond, some of these questions, real hip-hop heads, true hip-hop heads, we know the answer. But remember, there's a new generation of hip-hop folks coming up that don't know their history, that don't understand this stuff. So I apologize in advance if some of these things might seem elementary to you.
Right.
But some people, they heard of DITC because, the fucking marketing and branding is amazing.
Okay.
But they don't understand, how it started and why it started. Can you explain to them what was the impetus behind starting that crew?
Well, we all live in the same neighborhood. Me, Lord Finesse, Showbiz and AG, Fat Joe. Buck Wild, initially, Buck wasn't around us. He came a little later. But the core members, we all grew up in the same neighborhood. We were all in the hip-hop. You know what I mean? Me and Showbiz, we used to go to each other's houses and just play beats and shit like that, cut on each other's set. And the first one out of us to get a deal was I was in a group called the Ultimate Force. And we had a single called I'm Not Playing. And that was released in 1988, 89, somewhere around there. And that basically just led, at some point, Lord Finesse, he entered the New Music Seminar.
Were you a producer on that project or MC?
On the Lord Finesse project?
No, on Ultimate
Ultimate Force. I would say yes and no. Jazzy J produced it. I didn't really know what a producer was back then, but I'm the one that gave him the sample and I told him what parts to take. But
you were digging in the crates before you knew what digging in the crates was.
I mean, I was a DJ already. So,
Right.
If you were a DJ at that point, you had beats. You know what I mean?
That was nice of him to take your direction.
Well, I mean, I just told him what parts to take. Yeah. You know what I mean? And he was already a big wheel, a big deal in the business at that point. But getting back to your question, so we all grew up around the same neighborhood, and then Lord Finesse got his deal with Wild Pitch after he won. He didn't win the New Music Seminar, but he did enough where that led to his deal at Wild Pitch. And that album, Me, Myself, Showbiz, and Premier, we worked on that album. That's the Funky Technician album, his first album. And after that, Showbiz and AG, they dropped their joint Soul Clap. And then I did Flojo for Fat Joe. So all this happened in the course of 3 years.
Very quickly. Relatively speaking, very quickly.
Yeah.
So you didn't have Lord Finesse could have just gone. I mean, I know you guys know each other, but you guys didn't have to create this super team of producers and MCs. Do you recall the moment that he or you said, "Hey, we should all do this all together"? Do you recall that conversation?
That was something that me and Showbiz, we kind of brought that together. You know what I mean? We be like, yo, we should come together. We already fucking with each other. And,
It was you and Show.
And we already knew each other, before the music. So, it really came together on that song, Digging in the Crates, on that first Showbiz and AG EP.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's when it really came together.
And then at what point did you guys add Big L?
Big L came maybe about 2 years later. He came in through Lord Finesse. Finesse discovered him in Harlem. I think at a record shop called Rock and Reels record store. And so that's why when you listen to early Big L, he kind of sounds like Lord Finesse. Finesse was his favorite MC at that time. You know what I mean? So Finesse brought him into the fold.
Can you give me we have some very special items on set that we hope to obviously have you sign and induct into the museum. I don't want to mess this up. One of them is, everyone that sees this, by the way, thinks it's the fucking coolest thing ever. This promotional stamp set. Everyone can see this. And And this is a promotional stamp set of, the entire crew, the entire DITC. Do you mind running down for me and our audience? I know we'll get a kick out of this. The order in which the members joined the crew.
Myself, me and Showbiz, Lord Finesse, then AG, then Fat Joe. Fat Joe and Big L around the same time, and then OC came last.
Tell me about your relationship with Big L.
Big L, oh man, he was one of the funniest dudes. Like he'd be cracking jokes all day. It's just sad that he's not around to see the love. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know he would have loved to see his album at least go gold. You know what I mean? And he never got a chance to see that. But Big L, he was one of the illest to ever do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Do you recall the first time you met him?
I think the first time I met him might have been up at Jazzy J's studio up in the Bronx on Allerton Avenue. That might have been the first time. But Finesse was telling us about him.
Finesse had found him.
Right.
And do you recall the first, like when you first heard him, did you know right away that he was going to be as good as he became, as he was? He is really revered. I got to be honest.
Oh yeah, no question.
This isn't a secret,
Right.
But especially to this day, I think all of the heads, he's in everyone's top 10,
right?
And he's even in a lot of people's top 5,
right?
You know what I'm saying? So, I always find it interesting.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like the day Sylvia Robinson walked into the pizza shop and heard, Big Hank.
Big Hank reciting
spitting a Cold Crush rhyme. You know what I'm saying? That's fascinating.
Right.
Do you recall the first time you heard him? Because I'll tell you, the first time Wale got his start here and many other kind of big DC artists.
Right.
Tabby Bonet, Wale, Fat Trell, Raheem DeVaughn, And some of these guys, when we first heard them and they walked in as regular Joe Schmoes, we were like,
That's right.
Well, what the difference is the perseverance, the dedication, the willingness to get better,
right?
To take suggestion and critique. When you first heard Big L, was he dope right off the bat? Or
right off the bat. I mean, to have Lord Finesse co-sign anybody at that time in the early '90s, you had to be at least where Finesse was, or at least better. And I don't remember the song title, but it's the song where Big L jumped on Lord Finesse remix. Is it Yes You May? I'm not sure.
Yeah, Yes You May.
But as soon as you heard Big L, you knew he was special.
You know how like some people, you hear some of their older tracks and like, it sounds kind of unpolished.
Yeah.
That's why I always find that interesting. Whether they're dope off of break. Speaking of dope off of break, this is the question. There's a point after Funky Technician where you clearly made a decision. Balls to the wall. Let's fucking do this. Let's go for it.
Right.
Was there a moment? Did something happen? Was there a moment personally or professionally or musically that made you say, you know what? I'm gonna fucking go for it. I'm not just gonna go for it. I'm gonna put together, because everyone go do your research. This album right here, has an amazing lineup as well. It's not just Diamond being an amazing producer and MC. He also brought in a bunch of heads. Was that your mind? You're like, I'm gonna outdo Lord Finesse. I mean, was it competitive?
Clearly, I didn't go in the studio to make a commercial album. This is by no means a commercial album. There's only one commercial song on there called Confused. As far as the people who contributed to the album, these were the people who were around me.
Right.
You know what I mean? And here it is, 26 years later. Everybody who worked on that album, I still fuck with.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it wasn't like I was reaching, can you fuck with me? Can you fuck with me? Like, everybody who was on that album, Q-Tip. You gotta remember, I rhymed on the Low End Theory. So I already had a relationship with Tip. Large Pro, 45 King, Showbiz, Lakim Shabazz, who I got to know through the 45 King. You know, so it was just real cohesive. You know, it wasn't like I said, it wasn't like I was reaching to anybody. We were already fucking with each other.
Yeah. Well, you know, we got a kind of long program here, and we got lots of questions for you. And at the end of the program, we actually look at this. We unbox all of these pieces of hip hop history. Okay. You and I will be sitting here and opening literally actual assets from, you know, the history of hip hop. And some of these pieces, you know what I mean, are one of a kind pieces. You know, this stamp set is super rare. But you know, one of the things that I thought was interesting is, you know, the name of your album. Stunts, blunts, and hip hop.
Oh yeah. So
in recognition of the blunts part, how are you at rolling a blunt?
Yeah, I don't fuck with no white owls.
oh, he old school. He old school.
So let me
yo, these shits are white grape. Like, who smokes those? Kid smokes those.
So you need something like this, Don. You need the backwoods or the
So check this out. Here's the story behind this. So we sent an intern to the bodega.
Throw them under the bus.
I don't believe anywhere in a 3-mile vicinity Philly blunts are still sold.
I don't smoke Philly. I ain't touched a Philly in over 10 years.
So tell me, no, this is funny. So I want everyone to see this. So this is what we had for him. We were gonna have we're gonna have a rolling competition, but I don't think that this is authentic enough. I don't think, you know, back in the day, it was Philly blunts was it. It was really not a lot else. Switch of Sweets back in the day.
I mean, you know, down south maybe.
What made you name the album Stunts, Blunts, and Hip Hop?
It's the parallel to sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Amen. Amen. Gotta love it. Gotta love it.
Bong, bong, bong.
Bong.
Gotta love it.
So what was the first time you ever heard your own song on the radio?
Ultimate Force. That song I'm not playing.
Where were you? Do you
First
recall
time,
where you were when you heard it?
I was in the projects at my man's house. Shit came on, I bugged out. I said, "Oh shit, shit about to get real." You know, it didn't really get as real as I would have liked it to get. But the first time I heard myself on the radio, I was in my projects at my man's house. My man Shamel.
And what did your parents think of you pursuing music?
I mean, at that point, you know, it was still like, you know, but you know, my mom saw a progression. You know what I mean? So the lectures just became less and less, but I was still getting them, no question.
Yeah. The last artist that we inducted into the Hip Hop Museum was MC Search, and he was going to an art school,
right?
In New York, and I'm from Brooklyn. He was going. He's from Ocean View. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's from Ocean View, and or Rockaway. No, I'm sorry, he's from Rockaway.
Okay.
But the point is, he was going there to be an opera singer.
An opera singer.
An Italian opera singer. And he dropped out to pursue hip-hop, and he had to have the conversation with his mom, like, listen, Mom, I don't think this opera singing thing's going to work out. Did you ever have to talk to your mom and say, listen, I think I really want to do this?
I would say, yeah, I believe I did, because I dropped out of college, you know what I mean, and she wasn't really, you know, really happy with that shit.
Where were you going to school?
Well, I was going to Old Westbury in Long Island.
How many years did you get in before you dropped out?
Maybe 1.5.
Did you meet anyone in college that sparked your creativity, or were you just like, fuck this?
No, but I tell you, when I got there, Kool Moe Dee was graduating. He was living on campus too. This is like maybe like 88. Like, he had the records out and everything, but he was living on campus. But the campus was only like an hour away from the city by car, so you know.
Did you ever meet him or talk to him on campus?
Oh yeah, no doubt.
You guys were cool on campus.
Yeah, like I wasn't running with him, but yeah,
Right.
I spoke to him, and then
Yeah.
later on in life, when I met him as Diamond D or whatever,
Yeah.
then it all clicked. I remember seeing Dr. Dre from the Ed Lover Show. Dr. Dre, he used to DJ out there. Clark Kent from Brooklyn, I would see Clark out there. You know what I mean? So a lot of people from the city just, if you lived in New York, you didn't want to go
small.
If you didn't want to go far, but you wanted to live on campus, then you went to Old Westbury.
It's crazy that you were able to politic. I think it's a testament to just how creative, not just New Yorkers are, but also that time and place. You know what I mean? New York in the '80s was a special place. You know what I mean? What do you think it was about that time that was breeding that type of creativity amongst all these artists like that?
I don't know, but from a producer's standpoint, definitely the SB12 and the SB1200. Definitely once sampling started to come into effect. Because now we can emulate what we heard at these parties and put it on records.
Is that your weapon of choice?
A sampler?
No, the SB1200.
No.
What weapon do you prefer?
I'm an MPC man, so
To this day?
To this day, the 3000. The last 8 years I've been fucking with the motif, the Yamaha motif, but
As a keyboard?
yeah, but I got it rocking like it's an MP.
Really?
I made the whole Dime Piece album on that motif,
Really? We have one in the studio as well here.
no doubt.
That's amazing.
But back then, to answer your question, when the samplers became more relevant, you had a song like MC Shan, The Bridge, which he sampled the kick and the snare from Impeach the President,
Right.
and made it sound like it.
Right.
That's what was special about that record, even more so than Shan.
Yeah.
And Shan killed it.
Yeah.
But the production was just revolutionary.
In a similar way that maybe the 808 had an effect, the TR-808, Roland TR-808 had an effect on, music to this day.
Right.
So did the sampler or sequencer. And we wanted to show you something because we thought this was interesting. So we're always, you being you're such an incredible producer, but also your ability to sample and the way you sample and the way you chop, we find so interesting. We found something from like 1936. And we want to show you this video, and we want to ask you whether you think this is the beginnings of hip hop or not, from 1936.
All right.
Take it away. Check out this video.
That only time religion, brother, that's the only time religion. Why don't you get that the only time religion, brother, it's good enough for me. My Lord, that's the only time religion, brother, that's the only time religion. Why don't you get that the only time religion, brother, it's good enough for me. Yes, just come on, brothers, if you want to hear a story about that preacher and the bear. Gather round, boys, I don't want you to miss none of this here story, cause it goes like this. A preacher, he went out to hunting. It was on one Sunday morning. Though he was one Christian young man, but he took his gun along. Well, the first thing he shot was a bunch of fine quails, and he shot him a nice fat hare. Then through the woods on his way back home, he met a great big grizzly bear. Then the Reverend fell down upon his knees. He sent up a great long prayer. Whilst he cast one eye to the heaven on high, but kept the other eye on the bear. He said, "The Lord delivered Daniel from the lion den, Jonah from the belly of the whale."
Man.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
I mean, he was talking in rhythm, and it was rhyming. I mean, you could argue. You know what I mean? But of course, that's not hip hop. He was just, reciting the words,
Right.
Rhythm, like a rhythm.
We're always curious,
rhyming,
with the derivations of hip hop,
Right.
because most people identify, like you just said, James Brown is kind of like the original, you know what I mean, hip hop.
James Brown
Root.
resonates with hip hop because when hip hop was early and still in the parks, those were the records that everything
breaks,
the b-boys danced to.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So,
Speaking of, b-boys dancing, well, this is the worst segue ever, but, you did a track on an album that is arguably one of the greatest and best-selling albums in the history of modern music. And you did the title track of the score, the Fugees, and it's sitting right here on set with us. Oh, sorry to put my hands right there. But, you know, between your work with A Tribe Called Quest and your work with the Fugees, our question is, what effect did that have on you psychologically in terms of your music and your career after those two major accomplishments? And I'm pretty sure it was pretty quick to recognize, wow, this is a big fucking deal. That the both of those albums just, you know, went to meteoric levels.
Right.
How did you react as a human is what we're asking. What did it make you feel like?
Well, with the score, of course I was proud. You know what I mean? But, you know, I tell people, you know, yeah, I'm on an album, but it's not like the score was a single. You know, the songs that drove that album were Killing Me Softly, Ready or Not, you know, songs like that. But, you know, just to be involved with the project, you know, was definitely a blessing. Because I think it was just myself and Salam Remy.
D, it's the title track. Don't be too hard on yourself there.
Oh, what?
I said don't be too hard on yourself. I mean, you said, you know, it's not a single. I think the integrity of that album.
No, but I'm telling you, you know, my song is not the reason it sold 20 million copies. I'm just keeping it 100 with you. You know what I mean?
That's incredibly modest of you to say.
Dead ass serious.
Yeah. I mean, all right. I see how you...
There was no video for that song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know, but I think as a guy like yourself who's more of what we consider classic or real hip-hop, who doesn't produce for the commercial crossover hits, we considered that song as a part of that album.
No doubt. A big part.
But what kept it grounded. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
So if there weren't songs like The Score and even, you know, let's say One Mic or Fuji La, you know, some of these songs that were...
I love those songs.
Those are my favorite songs, but they weren't, Killing Me Softly. Okay, big deal.
Right.
But if without those songs, I don't believe the album would have the unity and cohesion that it has, is all I'm saying.
I agree.
All right, fair enough.
Now, with the Tribe album, yeah, I definitely felt extremely proud, and I felt accomplished too, because that was right around the time when my album was about to drop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So just to get a co-sign from the Tribe Called Quest.
Right.
You know.
And then to have Tip, you know, partake on your album.
It's only like you count on maybe one hand how many MCs have ever spit on a Tribe album.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh my God. Yeah, they don't rarely ever have guests on any tracks. And in fact, you know, you've produced so many acts, so many different artists you've worked with. You know, one of the ones that we thought was a really great placement and a great representation of your work. Do you mind taking the Fuji album off? There's two albums there. You could remove the front album. There's an album behind it. Look at what we have here.
This is interesting right here. This will be interesting.
So let me, I got that. So let me tell you.
Right.
Just another, you know, not only was, you know, your work with Fushnikins really indelible, okay, very memorable for lots of folks in hip-hop, but also to have a song placed on this movie, which, you know, ended up becoming like some sort of like
a cult
classic.
Right, yeah.
Cult classic. What was that like at the time? I mean, did you think that it was going to be anything, or what was that like? How did you get a call?
I didn't really know what to think, but you know, I knew the song was hot, and you know, of course, you know, you're always glad if you can get on the soundtrack. But you know, I'm definitely proud of that too.
Well, you've worked with so many artists. We were wondering, and we got a lot of questions in from our fans and our viewers. One of the questions that we got in is, I think the list of people you haven't worked with is shorter than the ones you have. Is there any one artist that you would really love to work with that you have not, MC wise, as a producer? Rakim. Okay, perfect. Thank you for saying that. I didn't prep this. Happy birthday. Rest in peace, Don Cornelius. Take this video away right now. Check it out, Rakim.
Rakim, you don't smile too much.
I ain't no joke. I just.
Yeah, I gathered that, you know. No, I'm over here, Eric. See, Eric smiles.
A little bit.
What's the matter with your brother here, man? He don't like to smile, you know. He even through his whole song, man. He just don't even crack a smile.
It's our image, a strong, positive image.
Mm-hmm.
That's Eric being Rakim.
I understand that. I'm not gonna disagree with that at
I
all.
may give you a little smile, but Rakim won't give you none at all.
I don't like the way Rakim is looking at me, though, brother.
No.
No, I'm just kidding. No, you fellas have a lot of charisma, you know, and there's something about the way you play and the way that Rakim raps. He has kind of a low pitch that's unusual for me. But I'd like to know, in your estimation, what you feel is the thing that makes Eric B. and Rakim so popular.
Everything. It's like a combination of both. It's like music and vocals. It's like everything we do has a positive image. It's like our record, I Know You Got Soul. It's like a line that says, if you didn't have soul, you wouldn't be in here, like on Soul Train. If we didn't have soul, we wouldn't be in here.
Did you want to add anything to that, Rakim?
Nah, he said it all, man.
Okay. I'd like to say it's awfully nice to have you with us. We'd like for you to come back real soon and do some more songs for us, some more music. And, you know, you don't have to smile a lot, brother, because I don't smile a lot either, and I ain't no joke either, you know? No. Eric B. and Rakim.
Oh my goodness! What'd you think of that, Diamond?
Yeah, I remember that.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Like you watched it live?
Yeah, I remember that.
That's the shit, right?
You know, we got the early Averex jacket.
Yeah.
Early.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Back in them shits missed something. Yeah, classic.
Oh man. Well, you know, they're all talking about the positive image and all that type of stuff, but we're gonna ask you a question that's not, you know, quite as positive, but we don't know what the acronym means. Your latest project, okay, is called Drugs, and DRUGS. What does that stand for?
My latest project is called Drugs.
You do not have a beat project out called Drugs?
No, that's not me. That's Drugs Beats. Shout out to Drugs Beats.
Shout out to our research assistant. Let's ask you then, what is the project you're working on now?
And the Dime Piece Volume 2.
Oh well, thank God it's not Drugs. Dime Piece. Well, first of all, Dime Piece Part 1 was an incredible project, and is that the album that featured Phife Dawg? Was Phife Dawg on Dime Piece Part 1?
No, Phife was on my second album with Pete Rock, Pains and Strife.
Would you recall working with Phife? Do you recall what that session was like?
I do.
What's he like as a guy?
Just real laid back. Like, you know, I was like, yo, come through and spit on the joint. Like, I just took a shot in the dark, and, yo, he showed up.
You kidding me? It was just that random?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this is also, you know, after you
because I was already fucking with Tribe anyway. Right. I mean? So, yeah.
Right. So, can you tell us any little surprises that you might have in store on Dime Piece Part 2?
I don't know about surprises, but I can tell you who's going to be on the album.
Yeah.
You know, I recorded a lot of songs, but about 30 songs, so I'm only going to bring it down to maybe 14. But the definites are Twista, Snoop, Styles P, Fred the Godson, Raekwon, Camp Low, OC, David Banner. I'm leaving people out, but if you dug the first one, then you definitely gonna feel the second one. I'm trying to.
Dime Piece Part 1
do it.
Yeah, Dime Piece Part 1 was absolutely incredible. Right. Absolutely incredible. So here we go. Let's do this. We kind of do it a certain way every single time we do this. Please excuse me.
All right, it's the hip hop unboxing, everybody. This is really happening. Diamond D edition. Let's go. Check it out.
All right. Sorry, I just blew everyone's high, but that's just how we introduce this thing. Take a piece, pass it down. Take a piece, pass it down. Here's some scissors for you. Here's some scissors. Everybody opens a piece. And the way this goes is we just kind of look at where it's coming from. We don't say their name, Diamond, because we don't want to blow them up. But everyone takes a piece, and then we open it up, and we just say where it's coming from, and then we hold it up. Pretty much just that simple. All these pieces are either donated by hip hop fans that have pieces of hip hop history in their possession, or we find them and purchase them on eBay or wherever.
We grab those from you, Jim.
Here you go. Now check this out. Here is a perfect piece because we've already inducted Trouble Funk and Big Tony. Here is the custom Trouble Funk jersey that they have donated for their display in the museum. This is a, one-of-a-kind jersey. Oh, holy shit. Look how dope this is. Look at this. Pump me up since 79. How dope is that? Sorry. Shout out to you, Big Tony. Trouble Funk. Going right into the Hip Hop Museum. What you got over there? Oh, okay. You can announce it.
Motherfucking breaking VHS.
You like a motherfucker break?
Well, he's not that excited about it, but we are because. Is that the guy? Hey, isn't that the guy? Is that
That's back when Hollywood discovered hip hop and fucked it up.
Yeah, true. Okay.
Breaking.
All right, coming in from New York. Grand Royal, the magazine. Bingo. Throw that shit.
Oh, wait, this is a big deal. So this is issue number 3 of Grand Royal. And it has a poster inside that's worth about $1,000 because it shows the entire history of turntable, the chronology of turntable.
You want to open it up then? So.
Yeah, let's see that.
Really? All right, don't fuck it up. Jesus.
That's why. Do you want to open it up and show them?
Not really.
Not really. Okay. You got to come past the Hip Hop Museum to see.
Remember, we're moving to this giant new location called Blind Wino. So anyone that's watching right now, keep that in mind. Hip Hop Museum has a.
Diamond D will get his peak, but
one of my mentors right here, 45 King, Beats, master of the game. Yeah, I had this joint on vinyl too. This shit is crazy right here.
Was this a mixtape of his or like a beat compilation?
Yeah, just a beats compilation.
Beat compilation.
Yep.
Cool. That's awesome. Oh, okay. All right. Well, I got a cool one that's going to get signed tonight. And Diamond, we're hoping you can come with us to the Brand Nubian and Black Sheep show. But if you can't, we're still going to meet with Grand Poobah and get...
Oh, nice.
This sign. This is a...
That's dope.
Yeah.
Grand Poobah.
Where you get that from?
360 degrees. Where do we get this from? Well, my dumbass just threw it on the floor.
Okay.
But I suspect it was a very nice human being who donated it to the museum because
That's
that is not, this isn't, I don't think, purchasable.
Poobah might ask for that shit.
That would be awkward. Never given up any assets here at the museum. But you got more stuff over there?
No.
Here you go. Just tell me if you're running out. There's no shortage of hip-hop history. In fact, one of the reasons why, we started the Hip-Hop Museum, Diamond D, the reason is because we want hip-hop to be recognized with a referendum from Congress the way jazz is recognized. So H.R. 57 recognizes jazz as a unique American art form.
Right.
We would like to have a House referendum for hip-hop.
It's only right.
Think it's only right? I keep, I feel so bad. I threw away where this is coming from. All these people are going to be so sad. Oh, well. Oh, wow.
I only warn you every show, though.
Oh, wow. Look at that one. That's pretty cool. What you got there, Diamond D? What's that say? Oh, wow. Hollis, Queens. Wow. Home of the legends. I suspect that's referring to, maybe this is a Run DMC jersey? I don't know. We'll have to look into the 7. Hollis, hardball. We'll have to figure that one out. All right.
Go ahead, keep going.
Here you go. You got a big one there.
Yeah, you do this one.
Okay. All right. You do this one. There's the scissor right there. Oh, I know what this is. I got a really neat one. So this is coming in from Brooklyn, New York. It's only right. What you got?
Stone's Throw.
Oh, Stone's Throw. They're a great label. Do you like
Yeah,
anything
yeah,
on
mhm.
Stone's Throw?
All the early Mad Lib stuff.
Mad Lib,
Yeah.
Peanut Butter Wolf,
Peanut Butter Wolf, J-Rock,
J-Rock.
Percy P.
Oh, yeah, Percy P. That's right.
Boom, I got something you really love.
Percy P. Battled Lord Finesse.
Coming all the way in from Shoreline, Washington. Let me hold that up.
Oh,
Dizzy, Let's get
wow.
a zoom in on that one, please.
Look at that. This
This
is
one is
very
definitely
rare.
not coming out the package. And hold on one second, I'm about to turn it around.
Public Enemy comic book. Oh, shit. That's pretty cool.
Flav.
That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool, B-Dub. But I dare say I'm going to one-up you. I dare say I'm going to one-up you.
I dare you not.
Well, I don't mean to. I don't mean to, but every now and then we get something in that's pretty cool, Diamond. People are really excited to commemorate the history of hip-hop, and this is a signed Jay-Z
Okay.
S. Carter sneaker.
Slightly one up. I still say slightly one up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. S. Carter. And let's get right to it because this is such a great piece. I want to get to the real heavy
How we know
stuff.
he signed it?
We have a certificate of authenticity, which either is worth crap or it's totally true. But actually, we do have people that verify these types of things. Okay, so let's do this. We are making a display for you. So on camera, if you don't mind, we have some very special pens for you to sign. Obviously, goes without saying, your debut album that most consider to be really in the top 10 hip-hop, let's use this one, hip-hop albums of all time, Stunts, Blunts, and Hip-Hop.
Appreciate that.
Okay? So it's so cool that we get to kind of watch Diamond D sign the assets that are actually going to be his display here. You know, most times we do the interview, right? We get off the phone, we talk about it, and then they send us this crazy awesome stuff. Okay, and Diamond, I'm hoping
You're
we can
getting it
show
live
you
right now.
some of the assets. But this, right, exactly, we're getting it live on the spot. And there's a couple other things that we wanted to go, with, this album. This is my favorite single growing up. I'm not kidding that. I'm not just saying that because you're right here. Like, no bullshit. I'm from Brooklyn. I know you're from Bronx. We can still be friends. But this single, Sally's Got a One-Track Mind, if you don't mind tagging that up there, maybe, I don't know, you want a different color? I don't know, whatever. Okay. Sally's Got a One-Track Mind. And then what we're going to do is we are going to, because we already inducted AG, your boy, Andre. Okay? We already inducted him just the other month. If you don't mind, in maybe silver, signing your stamp, okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to see, where he is in Japan now. He lives in Japan, right? We're going to send it all the way out there, and we are going to have every single member, RIP, Big L, sign their own stamp and have that as a part of your display. Does that sound good? Okay, cool. So look at this, you guys. I want to show everyone. We have the still in its shrink wrap. That's kind of neat, right? Still in its shrink wrap. Okay. The cassette. We also have the stickers. The stickers. Well, they're stickers, but they're stamps. To me, this is one of the coolest. Whoever thought of this? Do you recall the label exec that thought of this? This is really genius.
I'm not sure, but that was Tommy Boy.
All right, Silverstein, right?
Yeah, Thompson.
Yeah. And, of course, his debut album. Okay. Lastly, we just want to kind of ask you, is there anything in addition to Dime Piece Part 2 that you're looking forward to in the future that people can maybe take a look out at? Like, where should people go follow you and find your music, and how do they get
Follow
into
me on social media, Diamond DITC, one word, Diamond DITC. Like I said, I got the Dime Piece Volume 2. There's a new artist out of Harlem that I'm working with. His name is Snooze Hero, and I'm doing a R&B hip hop project with a group called the Blake Moses Project. I'm really excited about that.
Wow.
So, yeah, just look out for those two.
And we've noticed that the sound of your beats have kind of changed a little bit over the years, in a good way. I mean, all producers develop.
Right.
You were, when you started out, a little more gritty, a little more loopy, right?
Yep.
Now you're a little more, it's a little kind of cleaner and harder hitting, and,
Right.
and really punches through. When you said the motif, that makes sense to me. Is there any other equipment or genres of music that you've been listening to that have accounted for your development in your sound?
Well, you know what? Like, just quote unquote digging in the crates, for 20 plus years, buying records. You sample from all genres of music, and it's a lot of hours sitting and listening to records, all kind of records. Like, I listen to anything, damn near, and except country music.
I know.
But,
I feel the same way. Just can't relate.
But even on my first album, like, just if you know the samples from what I use on this album, then you already know my range is kind of broad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not just direct soul and funk. You can pull from anywhere as long as the drums are knocking.
And your drums knock harder today than they knocked, 26 years ago, also because of the sonic, bit rates.
The equipment's better too. Yeah,
the equipment's better,
Yeah.
I just want to end by asking you, is there any project, a piece of music that you're proudest of, or any accomplishment in your life or your career that you feel that you're happiest about?
The score's up there. I won a Grammy for that, so of course that's up there. I will say this: the songs that I recorded with Busta Rhymes, those stand out to me. Do the Busta remix, What the Fuck You Want, Wife in Law, those songs, and the early Digging in the Crate stuff. You know what I mean? Those are the ones that really stick out to me.
Yeah. I want to thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me, man.
Okay,
All right, no
and this is the part of the show where we kind of get to do something special. Okay, so here we go.
This is the Induction. Diamond D, the Hip Hop Museum. The Induction. It's happening right now.
So after 26 years and having one of the most iconic hip-hop albums of all time, Stunts, Blunts, and Hip Hop, I, Jeremy Beaver, CEO and founder of Listen Vision Studios, have the great honor of inducting one of the greatest and most iconic hip-hop producers and MCs of all time, Diamond D, into the Hip Hop Museum. And it's an honor because currently we are the only hip-hop museum in the world, and we have the largest collection of hip-hop memorabilia, anywhere on planet Earth.
Hold on. There is another hip-hop museum in New York, the Universal Hip-Hop Museum. Shouts out to my man Rocky
Bucano.
Yeah,
I
doubt.
agree with you.
No
However, and shouts out Rocky, the building has not been built yet.
Yeah, it hasn't, but I'm not. You can't just throw them under the bus.
Oh no! But I mean, in physical form,
right?
Currently, right now, and especially in 2 months,
right?
We will be the only physical, actual place you can go to and see all of this stuff. And we're gonna
shouts out to Listen Vision.
Yeah, shouts out to Listen Vision, but more shouts out to you, because it's artists like you that changed my life. Okay, you encouraged me to go from being, at the time, I'm a little younger than yourself, I was a DJ, and because of you, literally, I decided to be a producer. And you changed my life. I love your beats, I love your music, and I want to just say thank you from every single hip-hop head out there that's like me.
Appreciate that, man.
No doubt. Okay?
Yes, sir.